Yo, yo, yo. My name is Bilal Ray. Welcome to the first episode of Hood Otaku. Now, this is an offshoot of the Lum and Lao show. I don't have my co-host Pharaoh Lum today, and we're looking to get a third mic to do Hood Otaku. But I wanted to jump in because I have a theory for the Kagurabachi manga. I've been sitting on this theory for a few weeks, maybe a month and a half, possibly even longer. And I've been telling Lum about it. He's like, yo, make a video. And this is me just putting together the evidence and making the video. First, please like and subscribe because we are starting up this new anime manga review channel because we do love anime, we do love manga, and we want to be able to represent the people out there that look like us, act like us, come from the places that we come from, but also are into this form of entertainment, this style of art. I want to jump right in and just let you know, right, this theory, like I said, is for Kagurabachi, and I'm going to tell you what the theory is, and then I'm going to give you the evidence. All right. Can you please tag Dynamic-Weeb on YouTube? Dynamic-Weeb. Dynamic-Weeb. Weeb. Tag him because he's my favorite creator on Kagurabachi. Weeb, I watched all your stuff on JJK, and I feel like you were giving really intricate but also just fun reviews of chapter versus chapter, especially through the entire Sukuna fight. So yeah, let's get into it. Today, my theory is that the malediction, the big thing that happened that makes Mr. Samura feel unworthy of love and feel unworthy of the title of hero, the malediction is actually a puppeteering event. It's a move that the Shinuchi can do that turns all the other sword bearers into its puppet. That is the theory. The theory is that the bearer of the Shinuchi can use all the other sword bearers to its will. And that's what caused the malediction. That's what causes Mr. Samura's hatred of sword bearers and hatred of himself. Well, let's jump into the evidence. Number one, the first thing is that we have already seen puppeteering from the sword bearer and the Shinuchi blade before. We've seen it already. We've seen it in chapter 40 when Kyora, the father that was doing the auction, and he was trying to auction off the Shinuchi, right? I don't remember everybody's name, so bear with me. The father, when he was trying to auction off the Shinuchi, ended up getting it out of its box. He wasn't able to unsheath it and use it, but he was able to get it out of his box. And when he got it out of the box, if you remember, it says that, well, he became sort of a vessel for the sword bearer. And the first thing that the sword bearer did was he had launched an attack. He's not even in the room. He's not even in probably that part of Japan. He is somewhere locked down, caged, but he was able to launch an attack called the Magatsumi. The Magatsumi, he was able to make the sword initiate the Magatsumi even though he wasn't in the room, because he used Kyora as a conduit for his magical, for his internal contract with the Shinuchi. He was puppeteering the Shinuchi through Kyora. Also in chapter 41, a few seconds after that scene, after the puppeteering began or was initiated, after that in chapter 41, Kyora says, there's something in my head, right? He's referring to the Shinuchi or the bearer or both. There's something inside of him, in his head, ever since he started wielding the blade, that's taking him over, right? So my first part of this theory is that we've already seen puppeteering from the Shinuchi. We have already seen the sword bearer use someone else as a vessel for his own will. In chapter 42, there's a panel that shows the sword bearer in his cage. And right next to that, it shows Kyora. And Kyora says directly to the sword bearer, get out of me. He's speaking to the sword bearer, whose name we don't know yet, of the Shinuchi. And he says, get out of me. This is letting us know as the audience that the Shinuchi or the bearer or the combination of both have the ability to infiltrate the minds of other people. You get me? The second piece of evidence is the nature of the cover-up. In chapter 58, when Samura is talking to Ura, he says 18 years ago, this is before he kills him, right? 18 years ago, we covered up what happened there. We buried our crimes and we were lauded as heroes. He says that in chapter 58. We covered up what happened there. What happened? Now we know that the malediction happened because we're going to get into that piece of evidence later. But what is it that makes you hate yourself? What is it that makes you feel like the sword bearers need to die? Is it simply because they have magical blades? It's not that. It's some crime. He says it here. We covered our crime. What is the crime, right? What did they do? What did you do as an individual? What was your crime? We got to uncover that. Now, we're still talking about the nature of the cover-up. In chapter 72, when he's talking to the Hishaku leader, whose name I forgot, he says that the country hid the truth and enshrined the Shinuchi bearer as a hero. So he doesn't say the Shinuchi bearer directly in that chapter, but they show a statue of the Shinuchi bearer, and he's being shown as a hero. And Samura asks himself, how much does he know? Now, the reason why this is so important is because the Hishaku leader goes on to explain what we would assume is the entirety of the malediction, the entirety of the Shinuchi bearer disregarding the lives of everyone from that mysterious continent and killing everyone. That should be what we assume to be the entirety of the event. But after he tells us, the audience, everything that we think may have happened on that island, Samura still asks himself, how much does he know? That means that there's a piece to the malediction that he didn't reveal. He didn't say it. He didn't explicitly give it to the audience. There's something missing when it comes to the malediction. And I believe that the thing that's missing is that the malediction was not just carried out by the Shinuchi bearer. It was carried out by all of the 6 sword bearers. And they were puppets to the Shinuichi's will. And they went through the country and killed everyone without being explicitly participating, right? Against their will. They went and killed everyone in that country against their will. The last piece of this evidence is the internal contract, right? So in chapter 72, this is our biggest piece of evidence so far, almost. The internal contracts are such that the Shinuichi is the heart of all the contracts, meaning the connection between the swords and their bearers has to have a conduit. And the conduit, the glue to all of their magical contracts to their sword, is the magical contract between the Shinuichi and that sword bearer, who is referred to as a sword master. They often refer to him as the sword master. And if I am not wrong in this, I don't think they refer to any of the sword bearers as sword masters, at least in the I'm reading the Crunchyroll version, and I don't see anyone else being referred to as a sword master. But his contract with the Shinuichi is what everyone else's contract is based off of. What does that mean? It means that if he dies, all the other sword bearers will die shortly after. He's the heart of their contract. The crazy thing about that is, why doesn't Mr. Samura just go for him first? Why doesn't he just kill him? If he kills the bearer of the Shinuichi, he completes his mission of killing every other sword bearer. So why doesn't he just kill him alone and leave everybody else alone? Is it because of the security by the Kanonabi? No, it's not that. It's because if he goes for him, he's afraid that he'll unleash the malediction and control him against his will, as well as the other sword bearers. He wants to get rid of any possibility of collateral damage by killing the other sword bearers, aka killing the other people who can be puppeteered for his will. That way, he has a better chance at defeating the bearer of the Shinuichi. Let's go on with this piece right here. There's more to this piece of evidence, this internal contracts. Chapter 75, Samura says, I will kill the sword bearers and it'll be a showdown between me and you. Speaking to the bearer of the Shinuichi with him in mind. That's another piece of the evidence. After I kill the sword bearers, it'll be a showdown between me and you. That sentence implies that currently, while there are other sword bearers alive, it is not a showdown between them two. That somehow the other sword bearers are involved, even though they're hidden away in different pieces of the world, of the country, even though they don't have their swords, somehow, some way that they are still a part of this battle. Why? It's because they can be used by the Shinuichi bearer at any point when he is wielding the Shinuichi. He needs to get rid of them and then get rid of the Hishaku, because they are going to pick up the contracts, right? They're going to initiate a new contract, which is still going to be based off that with the Shinuichi. He needs to get rid of all possible bearers before he can face the wielder of the Shinuichi by himself. So, guys, this is my theory. I hope that y'all tune in and listen to the whole thing. Weeb, tap in, please. Tell me what you think about this. I really want to hear what you got to think about this. I think that this theory is solid. I think that because of the nature of the malediction, all the sword bearers are potential weapons for the wielder of the Shinuichi, right? We've already seen puppeteering before with Kyora when he wielded the sheathed version of the Shinuichi. We know that the nature of the cover-up is something that makes Mr. Samura truly hate his role that he played in the war, truly feel that the sword bearers are evil. Why? Mr. Ura is a good person. We've seen him interact with the kids, or with the kids, but with Shihiro. We've seen him interact with Mr. Samura. We know that he has a good heart. Why would he be considered evil? It's because he's able to be used by evil without his will, right? And in the last piece, the internal contracts, which connects the Shinuichi, it makes the Shinuichi the top of the hierarchy amongst all the sword bearers, being able to tap into their minds. Now, a bonus piece of this is that I believe that the Shinuichi, when issuing the malediction, also uses the other sword bearers' powers. He probably uses the Kimori's. They just dropped an episode where the Kimori. I'm saying that the sword all wrong. Mr. Ura's sword was just used, and there's an ability to create hallucinations. There's an ability of that sword to create hallucinations. And I believe that when the malediction was initiated, that power was initiated, right? First, all the sword bearers got put into a hallucination, and maybe they saw enemies all around them when they were innocent people. Also, the crow was probably initiated, where it was able to send the sword bearers to different parts of the island to kill people, hallucinating, thinking that they're enemies, but they're really not, right? The malediction isn't just him using the sword bearers to swing their blades and kill people. He's also tapping into their ability to use their swords. They're using their magical abilities without their own will. Tap in, man. Let me know what you think about this theory. My name is Bilal Ray. This is the first unofficial episode of Hood Otaku. And I hope that you tap in and like and subscribe. Please tag Dynamic-Weeb in the comments. Dynamic-Weeb. I want to hear from this guy about what he thinks about this theory. I want to hear from all y'all what y'all think about this theory. I really think that this is airtight as far as what the nature of the malediction is. Holla, like, subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Peace.